What's up, guys? So, wanted to get on here and make a video. So, like, one of my biggest like pet peeves, or like something that annoys me a lot, um, is like when you're trying to talk to somebody and you're like having a conversation with them, or you think you are anyway, and like you might pour your heart into the conversation and really like be depending on them for like a good back and forth about a certain topic maybe. And then like when uh when that's going on, like they don't even like be really like listening to you, you know? Like I always say like, you know, listen to understand, not respond. And yeah, so that's kind of like what made me want to make this video, because we've all had those conversations before, whether that be with friends, family, acquaintances, work people, or just strangers in life. Um, and I don't really know when that started to become a thing. I don't know if it was just like always a thing, maybe like before I was alive, or if it was just like something that's more with the modern times with like social media and stuff and everyone having like a short attention span. But I will have like so many conversations with people, and I swear to God, dude, it's like I didn't even like say anything. Like I was better off talking to a wall, like dead ass. And yeah, dude, like you can't make this shit up. Like I know y'all have probably had the same thing before, but yeah, man, it'll be like, you know, you're telling them about like the situation, or maybe even you're trying to get their opinion on something, and like the whole time you're explaining your point to them, they're not even really listening to what you're saying. They're already thinking in their head on, they're like planning on what to say next, as opposed to like actually actively listening to you and trying to understand where you're coming from, and then respond to your statement accordingly. And then you guys can go back and forth on the topic until there's a segue, maybe. Like, that's a good ass conversation, you know? And it's so hard to have that anymore. Like, you'll just be talking to somebody and they're just, you know, nodding their head, nodding their head. You get done, like, yeah, you know, I did this today, I did this. And then they're kind of just nodding their head and they're like, yeah, I did this, I did this, I did this. And they didn't even like respond to what you said at all. So then you guys are just kind of like, blah, 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 blah. And then like, there's no conversation. You guys are just taking turns like talking to a wall, essentially. It'd be like the same thing as like you both face this wall right here, and you're just like taking turns talking to the wall. Like that's the same fucking thing. It's like actually crazy, you know? So, and I'm guilty of it too. I'm not saying I'm perfect by any means. Like sometimes I fall into that, but that's something I've really wanted to work on this year and just in general. And so I've been practicing. There's times where like someone will be talking to me and I'll be like thinking of what to say next, but then I stop myself and I slow down and I'm like, okay, let me just breathe. Let me slow down. Let me take in what they're telling me and then just respond accordingly. You know, don't be selfish. Don't try to get your point out. Don't try to, you know, completely neglect what they're saying, because it's kind of rude, to be honest. Like if someone's going out of their way to talk to you and you just make it all about yourself, it's not, who would want to be around somebody like that, you know? So um, yeah, if you talk to someone like that, or you text somebody even, and all you see on their messages is I, and it's never like about you, like I would probably cut that person off, because they're probably just toxic and they're probably just using you. Obviously, they don't care about you, so um, yeah, I will cut their asses off. Um, Now, what you could do is I like to, like what I've been practicing with this whole thing is like, because a lot of times we don't even realize we're doing it. That's like the kind of scary part about it. But I would work on like active listening. this works. And you can get so many friends this way. You could get people will love you because there's not a lot of like good active listeners out there and people who like want to have a conversation and they don't make it all about them. They don't want to just dump their crap on you, right? Those people are rare nowadays. So um I think that's why like, those people are so popular and beloved by everybody. And it took me years to figure this out, but um so like how I brought up the active listening. If somebody is talking to me, like now I'll try to, you know, regurgitate. I don't know if that's the right word, but like regurgitate, a statement they said back to them. So what I mean by that, for an example, is like if someone, let's just say someone, like a coworker comes up to you and they're like, man, like I'm having a bad day. Like this person went off on me, blah, blah, blah. This is what like a selfish person would say. They'd be like, "Oh yeah, yeah," and then like my day, it sucked too, blah blah blah. So, and then they kind of shift it and make it about them, right? So what I would do in the situation now, if someone comes up, blah blah blah, having a bad day at work, I would be like, "Oh no shit, damn, how'd that make you feel?" Or and then get them talking more, and then it's like, "Wow, like what caused that?" Blah blah blah. They tell you more, and then um, after that, be like, dang, so like, what are you gonna do going forward? And just like in that process, they are getting all of. And I'm not saying you should just be everybody's like tool to vent on, but what I'm saying is that like people will want to talk to you if you take that approach because people love to talk about themselves. Obviously, that's proven and they love to, you know, talk to someone who shows that they care. They genuinely care about like how they feel, what they're going through. Like a good true friend is so rare nowadays. And, you know, like if someone finds that, like you want to hold on to that friendship, like because it's just so rare, it's hard to find. And so yeah, like people are gonna want to talk to you if you're a good listener and you show that you care and you want to be in their life. And if it comes to a certain point in time where like, maybe y'all segue into something and then you start talking about yourself and they still make it about them, well, okay, then, cut them off. But at least, you put yourself out there and did what you were supposed to do because it takes two, just like any relationship, any friendship. And so eventually you keep doing that, you'll find good friends that like, that you'll hear out and then maybe you might say something or maybe a week goes by and then you're the one that is going through a hard time and you need them and you're going to lean on them and you're telling them everything and they're listening and they're like giving you good honest feedback and they care about you. Like that to me is like a true friendship. And you might get discouraged at first, like taking this approach because like most people aren't like that. Like you're not gonna like good friends don't fall out of the sky every day, like it just doesn't work that way. So, but I think another thing that held me back a lot too, and something I'm still working on, is that like we're almost waiting for that friend to arrive in our life, right? Instead of like look ourselves in the mirror and improve ourselves first. And like that is a huge deal. Because if you're just waiting on the world to change, you're never going to get anywhere. Like you have to step up and do your part. Why would anybody want to be in your life if you're not living that way? You know what I mean? And why should you deserve a good friend if you're not even acting like a good friend? So it all starts with the man in the mirror. Um, and that's the biggest thing, it's like if you want to see change, you have to change first. And so yeah, don't wait on nobody. I've even taken this approach with like social media. I don't get on much anymore. But when I do, I remember like back then I was kind of like very negative and stuff, and about like, oh man, like, well, this person doesn't like my stuff, so I'm not gonna like theirs. Maybe like, you want people to give your kudos and your credit for all your accomplishments, but are you out there doing the same to other people? Are you commenting, hey, congratulations? Are you liking their post? Are you saying you're happy for them? No, probably not. But you want people to do that to you. Why? That's selfish. It's like you're going into that friendship already just to receive and not to give. So what I'm saying is like go in anything to give. And like I said, don't get taken advantage of. So just kind of, see how it goes for a couple interactions or whatever. And, if you're hitting the ball over the net and they're not hitting it back, then don't play tennis with them, right? It's the same. It's like the same analogy. So, you hit it over the fence, you gotta wait for them to hit it back. It's the same concept in friendships, dating, um, any kind of relationship. It takes two. So, um, yeah, I would just keep that in mind. And yeah, like I said, this is something that I'm still working on too. I'm not perfect at all, but that's really why I like making these videos, is to kind of like just speak it and put it out into the world and kind of remind myself like these fundamentals and these concepts, because it is easy to like fall into our old habits. And obviously, we're not born with all these skills, right? You have to like go through life and fail constantly and develop those skills. And so it's just something I got to keep doing. Just like in the gym, I always lift. That's how I get better, right? I'm just constantly sharpening my tools and increasing my skills and my strength. It's the same thing with like the person you want to become in life and all your philosophies and everything that you live and die by. Like, you gotta live that, you gotta speak that, you gotta mean that, you gotta be that, like every day. And eventually, like, you become that, and then you attract what you become, right? So you become that and you start with yourself in the mirror. You're then like gonna just attract good friends. Like I said, like good people are gonna want to come into your life because real recognize real and good recognize good. Like, um, yeah, and you still might get some negative people to come in and try to ruin that or just leech off of you and take what they can and use you. But when you get to a certain level, you'll be able to like sniff that out instantly. And then at that point, it's up to you what you want to do, if you want to get used or you want to cut them off or just set boundaries with them. Like maybe, you know, you don't have any grudges. Maybe you pass by, you say a few words, but you don't invest in them. You don't give them your time. Our time is our most valuable asset. Um, it's something that each day we lose a little bit of. Like every second that goes by, we get older. Our time is ticking each second. Like, time is precious. You cannot buy more time. All these rich people out there, like Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos and Bill Gates and anybody you can think of, right? They could buy just about anything they want, but the one thing they can't buy is more time. Like, you just can't buy more time. So I say all this to say, like, this is your life. So, you want to attract good people into it and um, give them like your time, the ones who are worthy of it. Like, time is energy, man. Don't just give all your freaking energy and your wisdom and your time to just low quality people who just quite frankly don't deserve it. Um, I like the word earn, not deserve. If they haven't earned it, like if they haven't like bled with you, if they haven't seen you at your worst and helped you through your darkest times, then are they really ride or dies? Are they there for you? Are they real ones? Like, and have they earned that? Right? Have they earned that um, ability that to have you come into their life and help them out? You know what I'm saying? So that's just how I look at it, and I think this is something that I want to work on, and I think you guys should work on it too. And like I said, since I'm still new at this, you guys can feel free to comment um, on some similar things or like what you guys think about this topic, because I'd be curious to like see your thoughts on it. And if you guys have ever experienced a similar thing, like when talking to people, like if someone's just always just making the conversation about them, and you know they're not really like hearing you out, they're just kind of like waiting to reply. But yeah, let me know in the comments, and also let me know if there's any other topics y'all want me to cover. And yeah, on that note, follow me on Instagram at Barfell Brandon. Like, comment, share, subscribe on the channel. And yeah, I will see you in the next video. Peace.